Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another Final Fantasy Brave Exvius unit review. This time for Tide Bringer Kaito. And I'm going to preface this by saying, if you're expecting me to be a hype man, if you're expecting me to come in here and just say everything positive about the unit in its entirety and ignore everything else, you're in the wrong video. I am going to critique people, units on their benefits and also on their cons, so I'll talk about their good and their bad, and I always do that. So I'm never gonna give a unit a 10 out of 10 just because they're hype and everybody's hyped for the unit. That's just not gonna be for my channel. If you want that, there's some other channels out there that will give units, you know, the best score just because they're hype. So just want to say that, and I will be talking about the vision card at the end of this after we're done talking about the unit itself. So his S-Teamer is very good for himself. Revealed that he doesn't really need the HP, 300% HP, but it's just nice, I suppose. It's not really necessary. He's not a tank. He could be a provoked tank though. He has some physical evasion. But anyways, he has infinite turns, which is always a good thing to see. I hate Brave Shift units that have limited turns, so it's better this way. And both sides, 300% TDH, 500% cap, pretty standard, although I guess 300% TDH is not as standard, so you could use some easier methods to get 400% TDH. 200% Demon, Machine, and Dragon Killer, and also Fairy Killer, sorry. 200% little burst damage passive. Sorry that the text is so small, but there's a lot to fit. He has also a 50% Water Amp for himself, 200% Machine Killer, and Demon Killer for himself. Strong Bolting Strike, morale based chaining, very nice. Base form, he has 150% Machine and Dragon Killer for himself, or not for himself this time, sorry, for everybody. And the other one is also for everybody, sorry about that. 150% Demon and Fairy Killer for everybody, of course. He has also a 45% Water Amp for all allies. 30 times mod boost on his Magnus for a little burst, for his own little burst. His base LB is a perfect dispel. 25% Katana in Peril, not too special there because we've already had that, but okay. 60 times mod boost for his machines, and also 100 times mod with 50% defense ignore. 26, and then the last one is a backloaded hit, I assume, of 1 hit. So 27 hits, but 26, and then a super strong backloaded hit at the end. Although only 100 times mod with 50% defense ignore. I mean, yeah, okay, but still, that's not that big of a hit. It's pretty bad. Even with his mod buff, it's still But I will say, guys, if you guys are not, I think this is one of the first units that's coming out with a racial modifier. So if you're not aware, it's not 0 times if you don't face machines. It's not 0 times. It's going to be still 1 times. So still, the modifier is not that great, but it's not 0 times versus machines, or versus not machines. It'll still be 1 times, not 0 times. So just so you guys are aware of that. There's still a lot of people that think that it's 0 times if it's not against machines. Still 1 times. And in his Brave Shift form, he has 2 abilities that are already mentioned that were already in the news. He reduces stat buff duration turns of enemies rather. So for example, if they have buffs, and typically they do, it'll reduce the duration of them by 3 turns. So pretty good. And increases the duration of debuffs to enemies. Okay, not too bad. For example, if you have a strong debuff and there's a huge cooldown on it, you probably would like to use this. So it's pretty nichely useful. The LB in his Brave Shift form is 30% Katana in Peril, 140% Water in Peril, 88% defense and Spirit Break, 90% attack and magic break, extreme Nova frames, and it's not as realistic to hit it all the time, but you can get 310 times max, but more likely you're not going to be hitting that a lot of the time. And he also has he has 90% defense break. He has 90% everything, all breaks, but they're kind of peppered in to his kit a little bit. So yes, he has 90% defense break, guys. Not 88. I mean, his LB is only 88, but he has 90% elsewhere in his kit. So let's go to cons. A lot of his best moves are tied to high morale, which might not always be an easy task to do, especially since some of them are 150% morale, which is not that easy. Considering the last boss, if you didn't have Chow, for example, you were lucky to even get over 100. So it's not always easy. His LB mod is tied to a water imbue for all allies, so if you don't need water imbue, you're kind of screwed out of a 30 times mod boost because it's mandatory. You have to water imbue everybody, and sometimes you don't want to do that. So there's something there. His shielding is far better than his LB, at least as of now. Of course, if you have high morale, but if you don't, well, both of them wouldn't be that very good without high morale. But the shading is very high, so there's that. And also unpredictable tide does not reduce mitigation, unfortunately. It only reduces the stat buffs. So they still have, the bosses still have mitigation. Thankfully, at least there's that, because if it did, it is a con because I liked it for it to happen. But at the same time, on the other hand, now they're not expecting us to reduce mitigations of bosses, because that would be a nightmare. Imagine having to deal with a boss that has like huge turns of mitigation that you have to use Kaito's ability to reduce it or something ridiculous. So at least there's that. And finally, let's talk about his vision card, which is definitely very good and definitely worth the hype. One of the only things that people are hyped, I think, initially at least, one of the biggest things that were hyped about this is that his vision card has 500 fly attack on it. Now, it does not have the same things that the Knights of Grandshield has, like low burst damage and a huge amount of unrestricted attack. This one has resistances, which aren't always that great, especially since you're going to be equipping this on a physical DPS. But it would be good against Clash Royale's bosses that you need those resistances for everybody on, and in most cases you do need to do that. So it is good. And the second one is 70% katana attack. I'm just remembering this based off of memory. And also, lastly, of course, the last one everybody wants to know about is the 500 flat attack for everybody. That is FFBE, and most units are FFBE units that are Clash Royale units, of course. So it's good. If you pull multiples of him, because you need to go multiple EX1s to get multiple of his cards. So I guess just one is fine. If you go to EX3, of course you get 2 of them, but going to EX3 is kind of insane. But but yeah, his vision card is definitely top notch, and it'll be improving his score by quite a bit. So what I'm going to be going for him is a 9 out of 10, guys. That is very good. I don't think that he's super bonkers amazing. Oh my god, he's the best unit ever. But he is really good. He has a lot of things that he can do, and also a lot of killers that he provides. The other characters are not providing, and I think that's on purpose. So I think that he'll be just like almost like a Roberta, where he'll be on a lot of teams in Clash Royale in the future. You just have to make sure that if you're not using water, you got to make sure not to use his water imbuing things, because he does have a lot of water imbuing stuff and stuff like that. So just make sure of that. But other than that, I think he's a very good unit. 9 out of 10 for Kaito, for the support that he can provide, all the utility that he provides. The damage is good, but you are required to have good morale for that. So just keep that in mind, guys. What do you guys think about Kaito in the comment section down below? I want to hear you guys. And it took me almost 10 minutes to review one unit, so that tells you how many things he has. And I didn't even list everything. Remember, guys, in my reviews, I only list the most important things. So there's a lot of things I left out, including the 90% defense breaks and things like that. Sorry, guys, I forgot to mention those. But yeah, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. Is he worth a 9 out of 10 for you guys? Is he worth higher than 9 out of 10 for you? And that's your own personal opinion, of course. This is my own personal opinion. But you came here to watch my personal opinion, so I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for subscribing, as always. Thank you all. And also, I wanted to mention something really quickly. I want to do something. I've been listening to another YouTuber who's doing something very similar to this, who's not playing FFBE, but it's a different game entirely. But I like to do something called a subscriber mission or challenge. So if you have any missions that you would require me to do, like do a certain thing and a certain with certain things, as long as it's not something ridiculous like beat Bahamut 3-star with no equipment, like that's just not gonna happen. Or beat 3-star Bahamut with only 3-star units or something ridiculous. It has to be something reasonable, guys. So any reasonable requests I'll try to get to. Thank you guys very much for watching, appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.